Hello and welcome. Bienvenidos on this journey towards the V National Encuentro for Hispanic Ministry. This brief presentation is the first of a two-part introduction that will cover the following topics. It will provide a description of the Fifth Encuentro, some history, information about who will be participating. It will also describe the goals, objectives, and process of the Encuentro, the themes which will be discussed, and finally some information on how to keep in touch. So what is the Fifth Encuentro? The Fifth Encuentro is a 4-year process of reflection and action that invites all Catholics in the United States to participate. Today, more than 40% of all Catholics in the U.S. are Hispanic, and over 50% of all Catholics under the age of 25 are Hispanic. This is a challenge and an opportunity for the whole church. And so everyone is invited to an intense process of missionary activity, consultation, leadership development, and identification of best ministerial practices in the spirit of the new evangelization. The process has been designated as a priority activity of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. The Encuentro starts at the grassroots level. This means that guided conversations will take place in small groups gathered at the parish level and in the community, which will lead to a broader conversation at the diocesan, regional, and national levels. These conversations call for the development of resources and initiatives to better serve the fast-growing Hispanic population in dioceses, parishes, ecclesial movements, and other Catholic organizations and institutions in light of its theme, Missionary Disciples, Witnesses of God's Love. And now for a brief history lesson. The process of Encuentro has been a catalyst for developing ministries among Latinos during the past 40 years. Each of the previous Encuentros has been a watershed experience that has significantly changed the way in which the Church responds to the Hispanic presence and the way Latinos respond as Church. The first Encuentro led to the creation of the Secretariat for Hispanic Affairs. The second Encuentro led to the creation of 8 regional offices for Hispanic Affairs. The third Encuentro led to the creation of the Standing Committee of Hispanic Affairs and the promulgation of the National Pastoral Plan for Hispanic Ministry, giving the green light and a clear vision to dioceses and parishes to respond to the ever-growing Latino presence. Encuentro 2000, or the fourth Encuentro, helped the Church in the United States to recognize and appreciate its cultural diversity through a new Pentecost experience. However, Encuentro 2000 was not a deliberate process of evangelization, consultation, and leadership development designed to generate new pastoral responses. It was an intercultural dialogue to help discover ways in which we as Catholic communities can be one church, yet come from diverse cultures and ethnicities. Many faces in God's house. The most recent Encuentro is the first National Encuentro for Hispanic Youth and Young Adult Ministry, which opened new pastoral avenues in ministry to and with the Latino Young Church. This is part of the Memoria Histórica, or historical memory, of Catholic Hispanic Ministry in the United States. So who will participate in the Fifth Encuentro? All leaders in dioceses, parishes, lay ecclesial movements, and other Catholic organizations and institutions are invited to participate in this process. They are invited to participate by encountering Latino Catholics. One of the major challenges for the Church and the Fifth Encuentro is that statistics show 70% of Latinos living in the U.S. are born here. 30% are born outside the U.S. The 30% are the ones already involved in the Church, but the other 70 are less engaged. And so we are being asked to go forth and encounter in particular those living in the peripheries through the missionary process of evangelization and consultation of the Fifth Encuentro. It is estimated that participation will involve over 175 dioceses, thousands of parishes, parish leaders, educators, members of lay ecclesial movements, regional and national organizations, and include feedback from lay Catholics and those in the peripheries. We anticipate that over 1 million Catholics will participate over the 4 years, and all ministries are expected to be represented. The Fifth Encuentro finds an unprecedented number of parishes serving Latinos and a growing influence of apostolic movements, all of which are led by thousands of Latino lay ecclesial ministers. It also counts with record numbers of Latinos engaged in formation programs and a growing number of Latino Catholic national organizations. However, such growth still comes short in addressing the demands of the ever-growing Latino population. So what are the goals and objectives of the Fifth Encuentro? The main goal of the Fifth Encuentro is to discern the way in which the Catholic Church in the United States can better respond to the Latino presence, and to strengthen the way in which Latinos respond to the call to the new evangelization. At this moment of grace, it is of the utmost importance to champion the ongoing formation and leadership of Latino Catholics. The Fifth Encuentro is a privileged opportunity to prepare them as missionary disciples to serve the entire Church, and for the Church to better recognize and receive the gift that Latinos are to the Church and society in the United States. The Fifth Encuentro has 5 objectives. 1. To call all Catholics in the United States to become authentic and joyful missionary disciples who give witness to God's love with a prophetic voice in a culturally diverse church. 2. To provide a renewed ecclesial vision that develops effective pathways to invite, engage, and form Hispanic Catholic youth, young adults, and families to live out their baptismal vocation. 3. To invite all Catholic leaders to engage and accompany Hispanic Catholics who find themselves in the peripheries of the Church and society, particularly those who live in at-risk situations and are not actively involved in their faith community. 4. To invite and promote opportunities for Hispanic Catholic pastoral leaders to serve at all ministerial levels of the Church and the larger society, as well as increase the number of protagonists in the new evangelization. 5. To stimulate a new wave of faith formation and leadership development initiatives that prepare Hispanic Catholics to share and celebrate the good news of Jesus Christ and become leaven for the reign of God in society. Now, what is the process for the Fifth Encuentro? Beginning in 2017, from January through June, parishes will participate in a 5-week evangelization process and consultation that will conclude with a 1-day parish encuentro. Later that year, we will celebrate diocesan encuentros. From January through June in 2018, Episcopal regions across the U.S. will also celebrate encuentros, leading to the National Encuentro in Grapevine, Texas, where 3,000 delegates will gather. January through June in 2019 will be a time of evaluation and reflection on the Fifth Encuentro process, followed by the development and distribution of the proceedings and related resources. From 2020 and beyond, we will continue the mission as we work with the recommendations and resources that were developed through this process. The parish encuentros are the starting point. Each week will focus on a particular theme, and each theme will include a missionary action that will engage Latinos living in the peripheries. The 5 themes are inspired by Pope Francis's call to create a culture of encounter, which are mentioned in the Joy of the Gospel, number 24. So the 5 themes are Call to a loving encounter with Jesus. With words and actions, do it. Walking along with Jesus, bearing fruits of new life, and celebrating the joy of being missionary disciples. This 5-week process will conclude with the celebration of a parish encuentro. If you have any questions, please visit the Fifth Encuentro website or stay up to date by following on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.